I started it.
Word. That's fire. What up, Christian?
What up, Cooper? Not looking at me while you're talking to me, crazy.
Sorry. Sitting on your cool futon bed couch.
My cool little Japanese futon that I've swapped to.
Your room actually looks really good. I mean, obviously, they can't see this because it's audio only,
Yeah.
but low-key, Christian has done a setup change where he has his PC on one side and then his computer on the other side, like his monitors. So he's got like a work side and an entertainment side, and then you just have the futon in the middle, which like you can fold back up, which is kind of insane. Well, you're making the most of your small room, where like my small room, I'm also making the most of, but it's even smaller.
I know. I mean, your room is like itty bitty, but also you're like in like a house.
You know what's kind of fun though? I did just install. I took my PS2 from home and I brought it to my room because it was just chilling in my childhood bedroom. And I brought some of the games home, and it was just vibing. So I brought like the old Lego games. I brought some of the old 2K and Maddens, and then I brought the Teen Titans video game from back in the day. And so they have like a brawl mode. It's pretty fire. My room just feels so vibey.
Yeah, we have that in the living room, except we have every single emulator that you can have.
That's pretty sick.
It's really cool. I can't wait to be able to jump on and play some more.
But yeah,
now that we're back, back.
What have you what you been up to? Go on any trips or?
No, I've been kind of just chilling.
Yeah, me too, bro. I just been chilling, you know.
JK.
We were on a trip.
We went to Iceland.
Beautiful, beautiful Iceland. You know,
the Island.
It was actually. It is what it is.
The island. That's where we went.
Yeah,
we're natives now.
It was so good, actually. So relaxing. Honestly, let's be honest. I was going to talk about this to you off podcast, but it would be kind of fun if we made like a little short, maybe edit of us, like 4 shorts on Real Deal to maybe post like this is what the boys did in Iceland. Like a little collage, maybe like a little minute long.
I mean, yeah, we can. I don't care.
I think it'd be fun after we do our stuff because you guys won't see this, but we might, you know, if we do that, we might put a link in there. Me and Christian are both making our own personal docs for our personal channels, but which are also in the links in the abouts. You guys can go follow those. Spring Productions, Clips of Cooper. But anyway, like we just had a good time and we documented a lot. And
you said pre-production and Clips of Cooper, and I was like, that's not my name.
Spring Productions. But we just had a really good time. Everything was super vibey. We made a lot of good memories. Touched reindeers, rode horses. It was vibes. I was now we're acclimated back here and we go, oh, US sucks.
Dude, I will say, like, getting back and eating
trash.
I've eaten like 2 trash meals and they've both like I've got a lot of acid reflux.
I feel awful. My stomach is bad.
I know, it was worth it though. I still want to eat Fat Mo's, unfortunately.
We just want to get really trash and eat Fat Mo's.
Yeah, dude, I want to eat Fat Mo's so bad.
I had Chick-fil-A, which honestly, like, I think it's because of all the
Chick-fil-A is the international killer whenever you get back for some reason.
Also just because of eating the because they have that like granola butter or whatever kind of oil they have in there.
Is it canola?
Canola, probably. It like the oil they make with their thing. And also this was like the first time I've had like the freshest like Chick-fil-A ever. It kind of hurt, bro, because everything else I've made, it was like store-bought like grocery stuff that I've like cooked up. This just kind of like killed me, bro.
I know, yeah. I do want to eat something. I want one more like bad meal, and then I need to like go back. I need to eat like
maybe
again.
Like some cooking stuff. Yeah,
I mean, I'm gonna cook something probably after the podcast.
That's
unless
low-key
we
probably
go
how
eat something horrible.
It's also like low-key how we kind of just sound like like messed up right now. It's just we're still adjusting from our trip.
I will say both of us, our sleep schedules are ruined.
When did you wake up today?
At 7. My sleep schedule is really, really good actually, but I'm just not getting quality sleep because
That's fair.
It feels like a nap. It doesn't feel like I'm actually sleeping.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Because it just feels like for me like
midday sleeping.
It feels like we're waking up at like earlier, which should be good for ourselves, but it feels like we're on the time of the trip where it's like we have to get up at like 6 a.m. to go on a trip.
Yeah.
But we're not going on a trip.
Well, yeah, and I haven't been able to. I haven't been able to sleep in, but I've been getting because the whole trip, I mean, both you and me both were running off of like 4 to 6 hours of
because
sleep.
we'd always
We
be
never
going to
really
bed at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, we never really got like a full night's worth of sleep, except for I don't know. The last day in Reykjavik, we got a good night of sleep.
We went to bed. We slept. We got to sleep until like 10.
Yeah, dude.
So we got like a good. I mean, for me, I got like a good like 9 hours.
Yeah. That was the first night we got to sleep into, but like I tried to sleep in this morning and I just like can't do it. I can't fall back asleep for some reason, which is awesome. It's really nice.
Yeah.
But also like if I could get one day where I could get caught up and I'm not on 6 hours of sleep, I'd feel fantastic.
I might do that. Honestly, tomorrow night or tonight, because I got a lot of stuff going on Thursday morning. I gotta go to a music video stuff, but like
I think going to sleep earlier is the move.
I think
because then you'll sleep still till like 7.
Now that we're like graduates or about to be graduates, like I think honestly, becoming adults, we might have to do what people say and sleep early.
Nah,
I don't think so, bro. Can't even do it, bro.
Can't even do it. Can't even do it.
Still a party pusher, bro.
This guy's a head pusher from Iceland.
You might have to cut that. That's an inside joke. That's disgusting.
So I'll explain. He didn't. It's not.
No, it's not fun.
It's really funny. It's really.
I tried to push Christian into the hot tub.
It's just a funny picture of him. Like it's like
It's
his hand gripping the back of my head, pushing me as hard as he can.
My ape hand.
Yeah.
Just like on his like thing. I tried to push him in and it didn't work. And someone caught this crazy zoomed in picture of Christian. Just his face just so freaked out. I don't know, maybe someone that like could be like on a wallpaper or something. I don't know. But nah,
it's so funny though.
It was just really fun. We had a lot of good times. We partied really hard. We made good memories. Made new friends. I feel like.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people. I mean, I wouldn't have met like, N or A. Or I don't know if they're down to let us talk about them on the podcast.
Oh, you're saying acronyms?
Yeah,
or
E. Or E. Or K.
I'm at E.
K2.
K2.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been friends with K2.
K2 S. Not H.
D.
Well, no, not H. Not R.
DJ.
H is cool. People are like, who?
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, bro, can't talk to them.
But these are people that like we just didn't interact with a bunch. Well, I didn't interact with a bunch. Cooper is like a very social person.
Yeah.
So it was one of those interesting, like, I don't know. I feel like it took them a day to adjust to like,
and for us to adjust to them.
Yeah, well, it took me a couple days to adjust to some of them, but
Christian was not a big fan for a minute, but it's okay.
Well, it's just because we it was new. It was that first day of like jet lag, basically.
Also, you're like traveling and stuff.
Yeah.
You're about to be on this bus and this long journey with people that like, if they're not like your best friend, it might be kind of hard to acclimate. But it's cool. We had a good time. Honestly, I could say that we maybe formed like a little team. You know?
Yeah, I mean there was a good group there like that we were friends with,
like a team,
like some sort of
what are we?
What are we? Some sort of Thunderbolts? That's what we're talking about today, baby. Thunderbolts, baby. Yeah, baby. It's about the Thunderbolts, baby.
What are we? Some kind of Thunderbolts?
What are we? Some sort of little league team? What are we? Some sort of?
What are we? Some sort of soccer team?
Yeah. What are we? Some sort of?
What are we? Some sort of suicide squad?
Some sort of suicide squad?
Wrong property. That's DC.
What are we? Some sort of
the Suicide Squad? Oh, sorry.
What are we? Movie. What are we? Some sort of? We have to beat the century guys, and we can't do it.
We're talking about Thunderbolts.
We're talking about Thunderbolts.
So Thunderbolts.
It was mid. Move on.
We have more to talk about it. Also,
I'm gonna cut the end where that's like the end of the episode. Yeah, dude.
No, that's a hot take though. But also,
it wasn't mid. It was a little better.
We have notes. Me and Christian it came out when we were in Iceland, and we were gonna talk about the movie, and we were thinking about going to see it, but we messed up the times. Well, I messed up the times. No,
we were gonna go see Minecraft.
We were gonna see Minecraft and maybe do a video, but like,
and we would have done that in Iceland and stuff. It just we didn't realize how like actually packed the itinerary was gonna be either. We didn't have like an hour to like just sit down and shoot.
But when we got back though, our buddies who already went without us, which was crazy, told us about Thunderbolts, and we were like, okay, what was it like? Like, give us the reviews, because I mean, Thunderbolts is in a weird spot with just releases of Marvel, because everyone knows that Marvel's been kind of in the trasher recently. They've put out like maybe a good movie a year or a good movie every other year. Most of the time mediocre movies or shows, and then some dookie shows or movies. And so people were like, I don't know, because Captain America came out earlier this year. We talked about it, I think.
Yeah, we talked to.
Did we?
I think we did. Wait 1 second. Keep talking. I'll pull up
Christian's
our channel.
doing some research, but we talked about Captain America. We went and saw it, which we had a very. We just didn't really like it that much, and we thought that it was like. And I know that everything's been going on with like reshoots and productions and stuff, and Marvel never really had a big plan, and they're trying to get back on their phases and their structure. But when I saw the trailer for Thunderbolt, I really thought it was a pretty good movie. And it seems like we didn't cover Captain America, probably because we didn't want to.
Well, okay, yeah. So if you guys are following our Letterboxd, we definitely did do Letterboxd reviews. That's another reason why you should definitely follow the Letterboxd.
Because if we don't want to, or feel like it's not in the trend, we're trying to start following more trends. That's why we're doing Thunderbolts this week. Obviously, we're still late, but like we're on the topic of Thunderbolts. We're also maybe going to do one for Sinners.
Yeah. Also, I didn't get out. I got really busy.
We didn't do Mickey 17.
Yeah, we have it recorded and put away. But what'll probably happen is I'll probably edit this and then I'll try to get that out. And it was a keeping it short though.
If we do, I mean, if we don't, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, which I don't know if this will be a keeping it short. We're kind of. So the original idea of the keeping it shorts for like a different segment of the video, but now it's just kind of like anything that falls under
keeping it short,
like an hour of like content. It's like we're just gonna label it as that.
Yeah.
But honestly, like it was Mickey 17. By the way, if you didn't see our Letterboxd reviews about it, very good. We liked it.
I think I said 7.5 out of 10.
It's better than Thunderbolts.
Yes. Which we will talk about real quick. But yeah, I think we honestly should jump into it. I don't want to like do too much pre-chatter.
So just to give you guys, I think the kind of way I was thinking about setting this up from now on is we'll give our number review first, and then we'll explain why it is that.
Can I also do my notes?
Yeah, but you should do that after you do the number review.
We're saying
we're saying the number review, and then we'll be like, this is why it's this.
First thoughts, and then we go deep dives.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
So
we're so brainy, we work it out as we go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Oh, it's okay. So
he saw me make that eye contact.
So I gave it like a 6.5.
Christian, please go.
Okay, I gave it like a 6.5.
So I gave it. Oh, go ahead, please.
I said my thing. I said gave it a 6.5.
No, but I want you to be like dead clear. I'm stop.
Okay. So I gave it a 6.5. Thunderbolts was aggressively okay. It was aggressively okay. What'd you give it, Cooper? So when
I'd like to say, I think I appreciated Thunderbolts more, but I'm also a hard ranker. And I would say that I think I gave Thunderbolts also a 6.5.
I don't know what's gone on with you recently, but you've been ranking movies way harsher than you used to, and I really respect that.
I have made a structure for them. I think
I respect it.
I'm not one of those crazy guys. Which shout out to my boy Mason. You're not crazy.
Shout out to my boy Mason.
I say crazy, and he's like, what the heck? I like how he does more structured stuff on Letterboxd, where he does like 93s and 92s. I can't get in that specifics, but I do start doing more half points and stuff. With me, I think I just have started to become a bit more critical of movies. The thing is, though, for me, someone will hear like 6.5, and they'll go, "Oh, you hate the movie." First of all, for me, 7 to 10s are like really good, and we've already discussed this, I think, in episode things. But 7 to 10s are like me thinking the movie is like really good, maybe a little flawed or whatever in the 7 spot. But like honestly, these movies are pretty good. For 4 through 6 and like 6s, 6.5s. I still have
those are watchable movies.
I'll watch the movie. I have something liked about them. Like, there's definitely some like problems with the film, but I think I like it. 1 to 3s, I'm like, okay, these movies are bad. So I think Thunderbolts for me was a movie that I think I did have a bit more expectations for.
I mean, Captain America was like a 2 for both of us.
I give it a 4.
Well, I guess
you
gave it 2
2
stars.
No, I give it a 4. You gave it a 2 overall.
You gave it a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd?
No, I gave it a 4. You gave it a half star, so you gave it like a 1 or a 2.
Yeah, bro, it was like a 2.
It's definitely down there for me on MCU stuff.
I think it's insane that you're even including it in 4, but that's okay. I would have expected.
There's some things I liked about it. I think it had a lot of structure issues. I think it's still watchable, and that's why like it's not as bad as like The Dark World or like
it's watchable. Invincible. I'm sorry. I'm so brain rotted. It's insane.
But yeah, no, but
I'm dying.
I think I had a lot higher expectations for Thunderbolts, and I watched the trailer. Well,
the trailer looked gas. They did a great job selling me on the trailer.
It did, like, because it was always one of the projects when they announced it from the get-go back in 2022, like from when they were releasing like the slates of the projects. It was always one for me that I liked the peak of. I'm also a big fan of Suicide Squad. I know this is just a Marvel Suicide Squad, and there's more to it in the comics, but the original plan for the Thunderbolts, and then like, you know, before even they had the casting out, it was like Thunderbolt Ross makes a team. This is fire. And I was in it. And then obviously they've had a lot of production changes. That's something in my notes that we can talk about later. But, you know, and then I was scared for a minute just because of hearing all the stuff Marvel was going through. But then when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh yeah, at least no matter what the quality is, it's going to be a fun movie. And I can say that for this movie, the things I'll give it quality for are the cast, because they were fantastic. Say
that again?
The cast.
Say that again.
Is fantastic. Later this year, folks,
I'm so
we
excited.
will cover Fantastic Four. But no, it's like the cast, the fun, just like the energy and stuff, and also low key, how different it was than your typical Marvel movie. It might not be better than some. And some of them maybe I would prefer a more traditional thing. Yeah. But low key, even though it's a 6.5 to me, it did something different, and I appreciated it for being different.
I'm a big Sentry fan. I didn't think we were ever going to get him in the like MCU.
Lewis?
He's so strong that I was like, I don't think they're going to add him to the MCU. And he is a little bit different than he is in the comics, but honestly, they did him pretty right. They stayed pretty true to the character.
Lewis Pullman is so gas.
Yeah.
People probably know him from like Top Gun Maverick and stuff. I just watched him. This is the second movie I've seen him in this year. He was in a movie called Riff Raff, which was kind of a little bit lower on the list, but for me, still, he was a top tier part of that. It's funny enough because I remember hearing a news where like when he first got casted, because he was a recast actually. When he first got casted as Sentry, he was like, "Hey, can we maybe change the name from Bob or Robert?" I don't know if is that a comic name? You know the comics.
I think it is his comic
but
name.
Like,
I'm a big Sentry fan.
Because the fun thing with that was because he in Top Gun Maverick, his character was Bob, and it was very comedic. So the fact that it's Sentry was another Bob, it was like, okay, that's kind of funny. But no, Lewis Pullman was sick, and he's probably my favorite character from the movie because he gets to play like 3 different characters in a sense. He gets to play Bob, this typical dude. Then he gets to play superpowered Sentry, and he gets to play the Void. Also, so I guess we didn't say it, but also when you come to our episodes, we are talking spoilers, plot, characters, everything. But you should know that by now. We don't even put it in the warnings and the titles no more.
And don't worry, guys. We know that the terrorist, his name is Robert. That's what I thought.
Bob Reynolds.
Okay, cool. I couldn't remember them calling him Bob, though. Like I said, he's usually just the Sentry from what I've read.
Is it the Sentry, like the Homelander?
No, it's just Sentry, I think.
Oh, sorry, the Void. No, it's the
Sentry.
The Sentry, the Void.
The Sentry, the Void.
Somebody watch out for the Sentry. It's like, why do we have to have the? It's taking way too long.
So
the Invincible.
By the time you say the Void, you're dead already. Yeah, dude. So I really did enjoy the movie and stuff. It was good.
There's some things.
There are some small nitpicks that I had with some of the world itself, which are very minute. They're not super duper affecting my grading, but they add up. And then also just like in general, they played it really, really safe. I really wish they'd pushed the envelope and just made him be scarier. Because they did a great job making him menacing.
On Void?
Yeah, but they didn't make him scary, if that makes sense. He was like the big bad wolf who could like huff and puff, but I wasn't scared of him like blowing my house down.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was interesting because they...
Honestly, I was a little bit more terrified. I mean, once the voice stuff started happening, I was a little bit more scared of Sentry.
Yeah, I liked the Sentry stuff where he's like, why would a god listen to a normal person?
And she's like, a god? He goes, well, you said I was stronger than the Avengers, and one of them is
a god. Yeah. I like the idea of him being more naive, like almost like Titan from Megamind. That would have been cool if he kind of had that ego to him. And then the Void was like the exact, like literally his ego death. Like him being like, the Void being like,
somebody
can't do
make a
against
Sentry
me.
Titan meme, please.
Yeah, somebody make an edit for us really quick. But yeah, no, it was really interesting. By the way, guys, don't worry. We know about the tariffs, and I promise you that the movie tariffs won't stop us. We'll pirate until our hearts give out.
Well,
like
honestly, I would love to maybe
pirates. Yarr.
do a. Actually, I probably don't want to do a discussion on that. That topic makes me a little sad, but
yeah, I mean,
I don't want to pull it away from it. But
no, I'm down to. But we can do like a
10-minute topic.
Yeah. But either way, I just wanted you guys to know
the
that's not
real
impede us.
news.
The real deal news.
No, just the real news.
The real news.
But yeah, back to Thunderbolts. Just because tariffs.
Like I said, I like Thunderbolts. There's just not a crazy amount to say about it too, which kind of sucks.
Well, there's things. Maybe when we go into it deeper, we can we can pull points
like my
out.
general thoughts are just like they didn't get the gravity right for a lot of the scenes, both tonally and physics wise. There's a scene where he jumps up in the air and then he's
John
not
Walker.
propelling himself any, and he falls to the ground, but it's like a huge, like, I don't know, shockwave.
Wait, are you talking
and
about?
maybe
Are you talking about when Sentry does it at the end, or when John?
No, when he gets shot. When Bob gets shot.
Bob gets shot. He starts.
And he
flying,
flies up, and then he passes out, and he falls.
Okay,
And he didn't have enough momentum or enough weight to like he's indestructible, sure, but that doesn't add mass to him. So I was very shocked why he he exploded whenever he hit the ground. It just didn't make any sense because he wasn't propelling himself. He had no extra momentum. That's the same.
When Thor fell out of in Avengers 1, when Thor fell out of the trap thing for the Hulk, when he gets trapped and Loki pushes him out and he falls out of the helicarrier, he breaks out. He kind of has a big of a crater when he falls too. I think almost for that,
but he had Mjolnir.
Well, still though, no, he didn't because he.
Oh, did he not?
He had to go retrieve Mjolnir later to walk.
Then I don't know. For that movie too.
It's bad. I think it's a super strength thing. Even though you're durable and you probably only weigh a certain amount, because you have that power built up and that mass inside of you, you are almost like 10 times your weight.
I just wish. Well, even if he was 10 times his weight, that's still not enough to create it takes a monstrous amount of force.
You've also just never seen anyone like this before. I mean, you
I'm
could
cool
say
with
maybe like Gaia or
I'm
like
cool
Captain
with them
Marvel, but
being
he's like the top tier.
I'm cool with them being like he builds up power or something and the inertia let out. They don't have to explain it. They just have to make it make sense.
Yeah.
It just felt weird because it was like you could have taken that away from the scene and had him just land, hit the ground and make a little crater.
Yeah.
Which I'm cool with. You can do a little crater. But, have him do that, and then it wouldn't have impacted the scene any differently. Yeah. He didn't have to shockwave everybody. That didn't have to happen. Right. I don't know. That's my thing is, there's a lot of stuff in this movie where it's man, if you just took this character out, or if you took this moment out, or if you did this, all the L parts of the movie, if you just take them out and you had all the cool parts, there'd be basically no movie. There's a lot of really good moments. There's some really awesome highs, but then everything else is nothing burger to me. And then your same thing with the second act being bad. There just really wasn't one.
Yeah. Honestly, let's just maybe jump into it.
Yeah, just jump in the like I said. I feel like a lot of our stuff is deeper than the one thing that I have that's surface level is the physics I didn't like, and I didn't really like the void as much as I could have liked.
There's some more to it, and obviously even in comparison, this thing wasn't shooting to be end game, but
true.
But let's just jump into it. For those, obviously you clicked on it, you should know who the Thunderbolts are, but for those who maybe just clicked on it for fun, I'm gonna read a brief synopsis that I made. But basically, the Thunderbolts are a team of past MCU characters. So you have Yelena, Red Guardian, Taskmaster from Black Widow, Ghost from Ant-Man, the Wasp, U.S. Agent, and Val from Falcon Winter Soldier, Bucky from previous stuff. Why are you laughing at me?
Taskmaster.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But these are essentially kind of these kind of sort of anti-hero, rejected characters that are the B team, and they're all hired on this fake mission to tie up loose ends, and then they discover that they are the loose ends.
Yeah.
And so they have to successfully stop Val, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who's I guess the Nick Fury of them in a sense. They have to work together, and then by doing so, though, they also become this sort of team that's gives them. I guess it just kind of motivates them.
We are the Thunderbolts.
To be it kind of like hypes them up to be more than what they are, like they think they are, you know? And like, first thing I want to kind of talk about in this is like the theme of the movie. Because clearly I think the theme of the movie, there's different types of themes. Like, you know, obviously like you're talking about tone, it's like drama, a little bit of horror, comedy, whatever. But like the theme, ultimately, I think in my mind, they were really pushing a big theme of like depression, like a point of like all these characters, at least for most of them, there's other...
Some form of self-acceptance.
Exactly. Some form of self-doubt or blockage. Like we'll see with these characters.
I think it was like also like the idea that the things that happen to you don't make you you.
Yeah,
or like the trauma that you've gone through doesn't define who you are.
Right, because then that's the good speech that they say with Red Guardian. And I guess my first question to you, Christian, was kind of like, do you think they handled the theme well?
No,
maybe with certain characters.
I think there
more
were
than others.
Yeah,
but
so there was a big issue with like who got screen time, which I think is a reason I don't feel like they handled it as well.
Yeah,
because they were like, oh, we all have sob stories, da 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 da. But also there was never really a moment of like, let's sit down and talk about and like actually like let's not make a joke about my dark past.
Can I kind of tell you why?
Huh?
So that's a big.
Dark passenger.
That big reason why they did all that was, unfortunately, I think the director, and he tried his best. Like he if he didn't do it, it probably would have been a lesser movie. The director, unfortunately, I didn't put his name in the notes. My bad, buddy. But if someone can give him a quick Google on their phone if they want to know more about him. But he did. He wanted to try to make this movie feel like you didn't have to do homework. Like you didn't have to watch Black Widow. You didn't have to watch Ant-Man. You didn't have to watch like this is like the 34th, something like that project of the MCU. Like that's crazy. So if I have to watch at least like 8 projects before I watch this movie, that like the typical user can't do that. I could, but the typical person couldn't.
You know what sucks about that though? I didn't know any of these characters minus Sentry and Taskmaster.
Well, that's the thing.
We'll get into that in a minute.
Well, that's the thing though. But like they try. That's why they have so much exposition. And I think also they like it's running on like a short runtime. I think it's only like 2 hours and 2 minutes.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was quick. I think though, if they just didn't do that, it would have been fine. I don't think anybody would have been like, well, wait a minute, who is this character? When we could have had them have their own moment and be like, this is who I am.
You mean the exposition stuff?
Yeah, if they had just not done it. I think the biggest thing where they're like, we need to tell and not show people. It feels
like they've repeated it a lot because you had them talk about it when they're in the vault. You had them mention it again, I think.
The opening monologue is her talking about it.
Well,
the first shot in the film, her voiceover is her talking about her past.
Well, I'm even talking about like everyone else too. Like Yelena's obviously.
But I'm saying though, just how many times they have everyone be like, "I'm
about
sad."
It. They have in the vault. I think they bring it up again when they like are about to get raided by the soldiers. You have Red Guardian being like, "So, John Walker," like that's a really bad Russian accent. I'm sorry, I can do way better. I'm not gonna try it again though. But you have these times. And also when you build them up and you spend like the ending where they go into the void.
Who's the Cap ripoff? What's his name?
John Walker, played by
they disrespected the fuck out of his like trauma.
That's Kurt Russell's son, Ego from Guardians. That's his son.
Oh, that's funny. That's cool.
But yeah,
they do. Yeah, they do look very. So I didn't even realize
they actually
that.
play.
Cool.
Did you watch the Kong Monarch show? You know how they play different people? That's they did that because they were related.
Oh, that's cool.
But anyway, keep on.
Anyways, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But either way, they're
they kind of underdo it a bit.
Yeah. So they don't do. If they had taken the exposition out and then given us a second act where Sentry had made them all have their own moment of self-reflection, and I'm talking, I wish Red Guardian had a horrible, like. Something tragic. I wish that because he was such a fun-natured character, you got to have that dark to balance out that light.
Did you ever watch Black Widow?
No.
In Black Widow, basically what they talk about with Red Guardian, because Red Guardian isn't actually the real dad of Yelena. Like we don't know about their biological parents. They were basically like a spy family, and they were sleeper. Not sleeper, but they put them in these positions. That's why Black Widow is sisters to Yelena and whatnot. After they do a successful mission, they get this intel. They bring them back to Russia, and he's already Red Guardian and everything after that. But after that, they kind of dispose of him. So him being so prideful and living in the glory days, he then gets basically thrown away by and forgotten by his country and his government and everything. And he gets bitter And he even when he was young like that, he neglected his family. And so in Black Widow, when they bring him back all these years later and they need his help, he then realizes that his true love is for his family. And you kind of see that in this one.
But like, I'm just saying, they could have done. Imagine this.
Everyone deserved
this.
a void scene. I'll say
Picture
that.
this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Red Guardian's void scene. He goes in to save Yelena. Yeah.
You want that? No, okay, I'll just bail.
And then he's like, he wakes up, he looks around. He's in a facility, and he's looking around, and it's him in his glory days. He's like, yes. And he's like all hype about it. He's like, that's me. But then it like warps, and we see like his family that he betrayed, that he just didn't support. And he's like, no, babushka, whatever the fuck. And
babushka
then,
means grandmother.
But then, well, he killed his grandma then. But let's just say though that we see him have this moment of self-reflection, like, oh my gosh, like these are the people that I let down.
Yeah.
And like I like the idea of like even them, like we see it on the screen and then we have it cut away, and it's like on a TV screen, and it's like his family there, and then maybe something tragic happens. We see them die or something. I like the idea he's stuck in this like dark pit, and we like see a vignette kind of start to build, and it's like almost like him having like a breakdown, like a panic attack.
Dude, we could literally let's send this to them, have them reshoot it for $50 million, and then bring it back.
But then we hear like a baby crying.
Is that Yelena?
Yeah, or something, and it's just like we see him, and he like picks up his like baby, and then like maybe it like warps, and it's like Yelena when she was like a little kid.
Well, I think
because it's not his biological.
I think he knew Yelena maybe when she was. Well, she didn't know she was a spy until after they got back, so she was just a plant.
Yeah,
but she was, I think maybe like 5.
I just like the idea of like doing that parallel of his child versus like versus Yelena, and then Yelena's there, and then we see it like, and it opens up this area, and it like. Obviously we would do pacing better, but like, maybe it goes from this like black, like void thing to like a golden Sentry. Like the only way he could get through what Sentry was putting him through was by processing his emotions.
Yeah.
And him coming out on top. And that is also going with the idea that Sentry doesn't just murder people, by the way. I'm trying to make it fit the like PG vibe that they did.
That was okay. I guess they chose to kind of do it a bit safer.
Well, the thing is that I don't get. They just they murder people with guns in the first like half of the movie. They kill so many people. Why do we care if Sentry kills people? Why don't we just have him fucking just erase people?
I think because it's just like it's a mass thing. I guess maybe if it wasn't all of New York and it was more like. Of the neighborhood.
I think it should have been just him flying around, evaporating people. Maybe. I don't think it should have been like the all-encompassing all of New York.
If he flew around for a bit, bop, 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 and maybe some people
and then
were like...
the people he cares about, put them through trials, I think. Like, that would have been cool if she'd like bucked up to him, and we see him just evaporate people.
Yeah.
And he does evaporate her, but she is in this like other thing. I like the idea she breaks through, and then he also somehow
maybe
like
Bob gives them a chance to, because Bob.
Well, I like the idea that the Void, because I wanted the Void to be a little bit more sadistic, like he is in the comics. But
yeah, but I think for the theme though in the movie, you can't have that because.
Well, yeah. He has to be this indifferent thing. I understand.
Yeah.
But the idea, though, that he's like Bob's like, put her through the trial. Like, she'll pass. Mm-hmm. And then he puts her through a trial, and then the rest of the team goes to fight him, and he puts them in trials.
I genuinely think everyone deserved a Void scene.
Oh, yeah. It should have been. That should have been our exposition of who they were.
Did you also feel, and this is more on the production side, I guess, but like, do you feel that, or in the story thing too, that like it kind of felt like the movie, and I get they had a very rushed production, but like it felt like the movie they shot it with only so many shots in the shot list, but they didn't get to shoot everything.
Yeah, it feels like there wasn't. They didn't have any Band-Aid footage to cover a lot of that too.
You think
it doesn't feel like there was enough B-roll. It doesn't feel like there was enough coverage.
Because we'll talk about this. Honestly, we can probably transition to it now-ish. But like, it felt like for me when I watched the movie. And again, I enjoyed it, but I have some points on it. For me, the first third was actually quite good.
The first third and the last third are bad.
I got some kind of more beef when they're talking about the A plot, B plot, because really the A plot, B plot is like plot A. Thunderbolts discover they're meant to be killed off, as a cover up, and they escaped and try to
get rid of the B plot. Give it
the B. Well, because the B plot, A plot are kind of this, but there are parts of the B plot that can be let go. Like Val, and the B plot is Val is trying to evade the U.S. government and Bucky from discovering her underground projects while also trying to still do the Sentry thing. I'm genuinely saying this. I get that it's how you integrate Bucky in it a little bit, but
I hated watching him do so much shit.
We don't need that because also it feels like it doesn't go anywhere in a sense of like I get that he reverts back to his almost like Winter Soldier days because like joins the rejects, like he has to decide to do it.
Yeah,
but that happens like before the like middle of the second
and just
third
have
act.
Just have him do it. Yeah, it's okay for the Winter Soldier to go back to being the Winter Soldier. No one's gonna be upset.
Have him be a congressman. And then and I get they did do it like this, but I'm saying like have him be a congressman, and the only Congress scene is the first scene.
Yeah.
And have her talk about impeachment, and then being like, well, the Avengers aren't coming, and then she bails, and then from that, Bucky spies on them. I get they try to integrate this other character.
Well,
Mel.
if they had taken out all that random, and I genuinely do feel like the Congress stuff was pretty random. Because I mean, it fits.
Because
in the
also,
plot,
like we only have known Bucky as a congressman in a scene of the Captain America movie.
Yeah,
and then apparently now from Val, she says that he had a short term.
Just because he's a congressman doesn't mean he's not a superhero.
No, I think
you know what I mean.
I think they said his term is already over, and I think what they said try to do with Bucky that I kind of wrote down notes for is that Bucky has had this long journey of being like best friend of Captain America to evil super soldier to redeemed Avenger. But
to congressman.
But now the Avengers are done. Sorry about that, guys. We had a bit of a technical issue. We're back now. But like I was saying, he goes on this journey and and we see a bit of it in Falcon Winter Soldier. But after the Avengers are disbanded, because there's not really an Avengers after Endgame. He loses a bit of his purpose of what to do in good, and he wants to do something besides fighting. He was a soldier for so long, and he wanted to try to trust the law, almost like I'm not trying to compare it to Daredevil, but like he's trying to trust the law on this one. But when the law,
did Foggy get life?
but when the law fails, and this Valentina person who's the head of the CIA gets away with these shadow ops things, he has to resort to his old ways and go back into that. And I think that's what they tried to show it. But ultimately, I was getting mad bored in these sequences, and also,
well, they didn't have a lot of fighting to begin with.
Also, where they take it with another character, it feels like they're missing some chunks to make me as convinced. If you convinced me, I'd be in it. And some people probably were who liked the movie a lot more. Yeah. But for me, I wasn't as convinced in the sequences, and it felt like it was a lot of drag time where we could have got more substance for our other Thunderbolts, which I feel that truly, in my mind, there are 3 people, and I will exclude Alexei because he's kind of like in it halfway. But there are 3 people that get fully conformed things. That is Valentina, Yelena, and Bob. Everyone else is either half done or not done the best. And you know what? Let's jump into it. They just axed Taskmaster.
Okay, so I want you guys to know this, and Cooper knows this, and a lot of the boys that we're friends with. They all know this. The boys know this.
Yeah.
I love Taskmaster.
He's a big comic Taskmaster.
I love Taskmaster's because Taskmaster is one of the coolest.
It is
so much better
than form.
He in seconds can learn how to not only fully counter your fighting style, but also come up with new martial arts to beat you down in submission.
Yeah.
He is such a cool there's so many just punchy shooty characters, and for him to be literally the anti punchy shooty character, I just like him a lot.
Yeah.
He's very cool, very, very dope. They always do his powers wrong for some reason. He's gotten some justice in the cartoons.
I would say they have because they've only adapted him really like maybe 4 times. I think like twice in animated. I could be wrong, and then only in Black Widow, which everyone was.
Well, he's made a couple appearances in other shows too, just like the one like he's like the villain of the week, which once again disrespectful. But I will say in this movie, dude, they disrespected the character of Taskmaster. Like, I don't even understand why they saved Taskmaster for this movie.
In Black Widow?
I mean, what? Taskmaster dies in the first 20 minutes of the movie, maybe? Not even that. Like the first 15.
There's a fight scene. She says a line. And honestly, I was following this one critic talking about it. Who knows if she was even on set? They may have even like CGI'd her face onto a stunt person. and then she gets popped by Ghost, and then that doesn't even like break the tension like that. It's Bob, and then like later, and then also like they kind of just use her death as like a joke. And I get that like her and Yelena weren't like close because like Taskmaster tried to kill her. And these people are all like jerks.
Taskmaster should have absolutely destroyed those three, by the way. I'm going to stand by that. Taskmaster should have beat all three of them in that room. They couldn't have done anything.
MCU Taskmaster, I don't know. I think in Black Widow, she was more mind-controlled. She had the enhancements. This is
listen.
Assassin
If you put all of their comic versions up against each other.
No.
Taskmaster should have beaten the fuck out of all of them.
MCU. Like realistically,
I know.
John Walker was probably the top gear, maybe Ghost second. I will say what it feels like to me. Ultimately, also they tricked us, by the way, production wise. They CGI'd her in some scenes, but then the biggest thing when we found out, it was like even before watching the movie, she was gonna get got was the chairs. When they revealed the chairs and all the other Thunderbolts, they did not have Taskmaster's character.
Low-key, I wish Sentry just ripped her apart.
Originally, she was
like, I don't know. That would have been brutal. That would have been very close to what the boys do.
She was supposed to. So what I heard one time was an original draft of the script because they had to do a rewrite of the script during the writer's strikes and stuff. Was that she apparently was not going to die there. She was going to be on the team a lot more, and she honestly was going to have this plot where she constantly had like memory loss issues, and she was going to try to kill John Walker. And I think maybe either he killed her or someone else killed her. But because Bob was also a character with kind of memory loss issues, they didn't want to double down on two characters with that. And so and I think maybe also,
which is like why even just have Sentry
it feels like
kill her.
It feels like a Rose Tico incident where if I guess that's a weird name to pull out, but like in Star Wars,
Ramona Daisy incident.
Well, no, Rose Tico is a character where in The Last Jedi, she is this character that everyone kind of hated, which kind of sucks. But like she was this kind of like character that kind of was added in, and she kind of like made people very mad. And so in the next movie, they basically like wrote her out, even though like the right solution would have been like, hey, you introduced this character, she had a bit of a rough introduction, the fans didn't really like her, but like that's like being like if you wrote out Jar Jar Binks, like you have to just kind of roll with the punches, integrate them into the story,
just
somehow.
make them better, the character. It's so weird how for some reason a lot of franchises, it's not just MCU, but a lot of franchises that make a serialized character that are going to be in one movie, if they're not like received, like if people aren't sucking the dick of that character whenever they come out, I'm sorry for my profanity, if they're not like drooling over the character, they're like, oh, bad, gotta kill him. We can't make this character good at all. What happened to character arcs? Well, we can have character arcs over multiple movies.
You can make her, even if you like intended on her to die, like I would say even by like someone like Sentry, have her be a character, because she is a character that like she for her entire life, because you didn't see Black Widow, she was killed on a mission. She was collateral damage to kill this dude, Dreykov, by Black Widow. That was like, we hear that in Avengers and we don't see it until this movie. But she was supposed to be, in theory, killed, but she ended up becoming used as a weapon from her father and then given enhancements. And so she's always been forced to do something. And this one, she's free. And I'm not saying she can't still be, but all the characters follow.
Free for 15 minutes.
All the characters kind of follow what they know best. They aren't good people in a sense. They might have try to do good intentions later, but they don't know how to, so they only go back to what they know. John Walker's a good soldier. He's a cocky jerk and everything, but he lost his family because of that, and because of his ego, and because of his not being able to let go of his pride. And
they disrespected him too,
or not being also just to like he basically pushes all of his problems. He pushes his blame onto somebody else and not on himself. And so you have these characters for each of them that they go back to. I'm just
saying, having a void scene where he had to realize that he's the reason everything went wrong, and having to accept that,
and having a Captain America moment where he pulls himself out and he goes, he's not Captain America.
And he pulls the team together. That would have been cool.
Well, I still think probably Yelena's the team leader. But I'm saying like for John, having a true Captain America Steve Rogers moment where you look on the inside and it's not about the mantle, it's about the person. Yeah. And he realizes, I'm the mistake. Yeah. And as a man, as a human, I have to take responsibility.
And I like the idea because he also, if he had done that and had that profound moment, and he realized, oh my gosh, I'm not Captain America.
Yeah.
Like, he was so stuck to that title too. Like the idea that like, maybe he has a moment where he throws down his shield and shit, and like he runs in and like saves somebody. Like I don't know anything like even just thinking about that in that like last fight scene or whatever. That like gives me goosebumps. The idea of him coming out of that like. I don't need to be Captain America. I need to be me.
Having them, well, they kind of do that at the end of the Captain America show a bit, or in a sense. But I think they traded these individual moments for the team stuff before they go into the void, and then.
But then they spread it out the team stuff, and then broke it up with the Congress stuff. It's a very congested movie.
In my mind, we never had a true second act. We never had time to grow with these characters, and everyone I think has talked about in analysis before, but that
we're all joking, and then we're friends.
And then we're still joking.
And then we're still joking.
And you can have lightheartedness
moments.
Oh,
your wife left you? Ha ha ha. And no repercussions for like that comment.
It was kind of crazy.
He was just like
fair.
He's just, and then it was over. That was the next. It moved on to the next thing.
Low-key, to give some...
He wasn't in this movie.
No, he was not. He'll be in Avengers, though. But I guess to give some people props, because we're talking about a lot of negatives, like we said, I think Yelena is fleshed out really well. I think she has... in her arc, because I feel like her arc is almost like, if you have to say it, they do her arc as like trying to do it for everyone. Like everyone does have the same issues, but we're seeing it through Yelena's POV. So that's why she is.
But they didn't even successfully do that. I don't think they didn't fully commit
not to the
that.
craziest full, because you almost see that even when she doesn't even escape her own void, she falls into Bob's.
The Centuries,
Everyone's basically, but I feel like everyone's alone. And she even says that she goes, I'm alone. I come home to nobody. And then she finds it in these people. And Bob is a bit of a gateway for that. Bob has done really well. And I
think he was definitely, out of all the characters, he was done the best.
And I agree. And I think, and he has so much to tackle. And then I also think Valentina's done really well. I think she has some minor things.
I wish she was a little bit less CEO and more like, I'm gonna kill whoever I have to kill to get
more Madam Hydra.
Yeah,
because she in the comics she's a triple agent.
It felt very impersonal when she would be like, "Send the team to go kill them," and it's just like, why couldn't we have had the moment where like imagine the moment like the Void is like with Yelena, and Yelena's trying to talk him down, and then she is standing there, and she's got a gun pointed to Yelena, and she is telling the Void, "You need to kill her." Like, I don't know. Why couldn't we have had some more?
I don't know.
Well, she was there. It could have happened.
But she was going through her own things. Like she was looking back at her time in Italy with her parents. But I think I didn't mind her.
Which none of that mattered though.
I didn't mind.
She had no revelation. There was no reason for her to even be in that spot. We find out that she's a tragic person, and then are we supposed to? Is it supposed to humanize her?
Right.
Because it doesn't. We get 2 seconds of her being like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Papa. You lived in a communist regime." Okay, so did half the other characters in the show.
They did need a bit more.
They were all just so sad and gloomy, and I would have. I feel like I would have liked, because I mean, the Void. I'm sorry if I'm like bulldozing you here.
No, it's good.
I feel like the Void was such a tragic thing that I would have almost loved the brevity of someone who's just like, I'm power hungry and I'm gonna be on top. Like, there's no extra baggage. There's just, I need to win.
I think a problem with that is that she's just like, she oozes, like Julia Louis-Dreyfus is star power, and I bet they probably weren't gonna do that unless they were gonna have Century axe her. Which
I think you should have.
I think for me is I kind of like that she kind of like the whole end thing when they go, we're going to arrest her. And then she goes, oh no, please, 1 second. And then it goes, and here's the press junket. I thought that was pretty funny. I think that kind of works a bit, because then for them, you set them up as a team. I will say I think that's a bit of a swing, Marvel, that I think they're trying to have their teams ready for Avengers when Avengers is only 2 movies away. And I think they were like, oh crap, we need to like make people more known. So I think this is a part that suffers in the movie, that they could have been more of a team if they would have been.
I'm just saying, what if they had axed her and then had the assistant take over?
Mel? Well, they do a weird thing with Mel where she chooses She chooses her loyalty. She kind of didn't.
She was supposed to be the most influential character, I feel like, too. I feel like she's like the person.
I like the actress. I've seen her in stuff like Blockers, Drive Away Dolls, all that stuff. But like, I think she could have been a cooler character, but also like she was a character that was like kind of eating up some screen time, and I guess they needed someone to play off of Val a bit more. And she was kind of like the show's.
I would have taken Taskmaster over all of her scenes.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That's fair. Well, because I feel like Bucky could have just had a one-on-one relationship with Val and being more for like, I'm gonna get you, Val, and she goes, oh, Bucky, and then maybe have him and Red Guardian team up or something. I don't know. Mel was a cool, interesting character piece of like the duality of like, and the way Val says it is really good in that scene where she goes, there is no good guy or bad guy. There is the bad guys and the worst people, and basically to be. I think I said
and
it
the worst guy
when I wrote about it with like Val, was that she was somebody that like she has to act as like new protection basically, and you have to get your hands dirty to build a world that you think is needed to be safe. Like she does this.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I feel like in every other project that she's in, maybe minus Wakanda Forever, I don't know, because she's in that for a bit. I like her, and they're like both like maybe 3 minute like of screen time with her. I think she's a bit more sadistical in those ones, but she's also playful. When she meets U.S. Agent, she's like, don't get the name wrong, but also like, we'll do this. Or with Yelena, she's like half crying, fake crying at the graveyard. There's just things that are like,
I wish they pushed it more and had her be more.
They could have made
fucking just like it crazy.
The
just
structure,
make her crazy. It's okay.
The structure should have been stronger.
Yeah.
I think I need a bit more time with the characters. I love the characters, and so when you make,
I'm so good to have another hour of runtime if it means
I
that
would
we get
take
to know
another
everybody.
20, 30 minutes. I didn't think it'd take that much longer.
Yeah, I mean they just all. I think literally if they just cut the exposition so much at the beginning. And then also like cut the scene of him showing up in the car. They don't need him
for
to
them
show
to
up.
Well, how that for me, that's a little bit of the thing with me. That my only nitpick is there's some times where it's a little too convenient.
Yeah. I mean, well, because fucking Yelena's dad just drives up to them after he finds out after he happens to find out.
Val said the coordinates, but probably to the base, not to them.
Yeah.
If he would have done something like, she's like, how did you find me? And he goes, sweetheart, you don't think I keep track on you? I did that when we hugged. You know, it's like he's like, I have to watch out for my baby girl, and it's like embarrassing kind of, but like something like that.
What do you think built your suit, or just something to be like? Remember that those batons I gave you for your birthday? Look at the bottom. You know, they could have had it be.
You know, spice stuff.
But it made no sense. Yeah. It just made no sense. He just showed up, and also it's like, I would have almost rather had a straight up cut of them being like, "Oh my gosh, we're stuck out here," to like them being like sunburnt and they're like back out like, at his house. Like I would have taken that over him showing up randomly. Like just it's okay to make it mysterious, and it would have been a cop out still, but I would have preferred it.
There's some things in the structure and everything. I will say I don't know much about the production stuff. I was going to talk about that a bit in terms of like everything that goes down with it.
I guess they did that because they wanted the Bucky moment of him flipping that car.
Right. I mean,
that's why they probably needed. There's no other reason.
They needed some more action. Even though the movie is full of action, it felt like some of the action wasn't.
It's insane because the movie. I'm thinking about it. The movie is full of fights and action. It feels like it was like maybe a couple, like 2 scenes of action.
There wasn't
like 2 full scenes of action.
Nothing super wow.
Yeah, I mean Bucky did his thing where he flips over a car.
The scene of them when they are in the elevator back to back, that was more of an interesting scene to me than the Bucky car scene.
Yeah.
And I think it just gave us time for them to bond as a team. But I don't know. Also, I feel like I do think that they did have to do some rewrites on the script during the writer's strike, and they got set back a bit, and then they got their production stuff pushed. So maybe it's on that. But also, a lot of people do like this movie, and they work with the characters. So this is more of our opinion. But for me, the structure. For me, I'm a big person about writing, and so if the structure's not there, I do knock a lot of points off. But I do want to do. I don't know if you have any more final thoughts. I wanted to do kind of 2 more topics and then jump on that.
I wish that the Void was murdering people. I don't understand why he was putting people through trials. They didn't really make it make sense because he has this line, and I was telling you this in the theater.
Yeah,
he has this line where he's like,
Sentry or Void?
Yeah, Sentry.
Okay.
Or the Void has a line, and he's like, it must be such a hassle to fight, or like, you must be so tired of fighting. Here, let me help you.
When he's talking to
just one of the soldiers that's shooting him.
Right.
And then he disappears him, and it's like, okay, it makes sense that you killed him. It makes no sense for you to be like, you must be tired of fighting. Let me help you. And then he puts you in a situation where you have to like fight to like be sane. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Why is he putting that guy through a trial? Why just murder him?
It's not like he.
That guy doesn't matter. Just kill him. Just murder him. Whenever we see that little girl and she gets fucking dusted, cool.
Good shocking
I'm so
scene.
cool with the villain being
a villain.
An evil villain. Our good guys in the movie were killing people. Why are we worried about making the Void?
I think for him, they made him kind of like the Joe Udapaki, where she wants nothingness, and so he is like it's whatever. I'm going.
Well, yeah, but if it's gonna be the Void and it's gonna be this whole thing of like it's meaningless, then just have him be like death. Have him be the unstoppable.
We already have death.
The atom bomb.
Her name's Hela.
Have him be. Have him be the fucking if you see him, you die.
How'd you feel about the power of friendship?
I think they have to do that. Well, how are they going to beat Sentry otherwise?
I think I like it. I was talking to my friend about it. I was talking to Dorian about it. I said I think it works.
It was a little too quick.
It was a little quick. Yeah, exactly. I think
Sentry knew these people for like what, 2 days?
The answer was there. I think some of the execution was there. I think a big issue with this is structure and pacing.
It felt like Steven Universe Future.
Yes, bro. But
you know how they hug him at the end and then he's not a monster anymore.
Like it was kind of quick. Yeah, I think for
spoilers.
This movie, it felt like, and I use this example because I think it was a good comparison example, and that they both kind of like that's the way you had to do it. Was at the end of the Lego Movie, Emmett and they all fight, and he gets a president of business.
Oh yeah,
and he can't beat him in a fight, so he talks to him, and he really gets to him because he knows he can't.
You don't
have to be the bad guy.
And I love the idea, like, because the Void's a mentality, which, by the way, I am so cool with Bob overpowering the Void, but I think it should have been a thing where he had to be hyped up, because he was just like, I'm stronger than you.
They're like, get him, Bob.
But him being like,
well, I actually quite like that the Void almost gets him because he's giving in to himself, but the fact that they hug him and he becomes a moment where it is kind of like, if there was another moment where he was in like hope and stuff, and he's like, I don't need this. Like, I am strong. Like, if he would have said the "I'm stronger than you" part after the hug, it would have like been really cool to show that he's empowered by love and by
also
purpose.
Even just I think, by the way, I think they were trying to make Yelena the like love interest for him too,
or at least like a really good chemistry person.
Honestly, I'm so much cooler with them being like, you can do this, and then she kisses him,
trauma buddies,
and he's like. I can do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that would have been better than them being like, let me hug you. I think so. I think it would have given him a reason.
I don't think they wanted it to be, well, there is, I think, a bit of maybe some chemistry there. I think they wanted it to be like, you know, if you're going through something, a good friend supporting you and sheltering you with a hug. Because, I mean, a kiss in a relationship obviously might mean more, but also a hug in any relationship means a lot.
True, but also they butchered that. So
I think they quicked it, and also the team. It was like everyone just decides to hug. It's like that was a little. I liked where they were going with it. I think it could have been done a little bit more precise. But if
they had done the Void thing where it was like everybody got their own Void scene, it could have also been like Bob was fractured also, so he was in everyone's scene, and they all had a moment to relate.
Well, because we kind of saw that with Valentina and John. Yeah, and I would have liked it that he was trying to talk to him a bit.
Yeah, him witnessing them like their moments,
their traumas.
I would have really
that would build their relationship. I feel like because he was there too.
Yeah, and then I like the idea that they have a meeting, and then maybe he comforts them after Yelena comforts him. Yeah, and then that helps him also. Like, I don't know. There's a lot you can do with the power of friendship thing. Yeah, I do think though that they completely butchered it. Yeah, because like I mean, who in the current MCU right now is going to be able to actually beat up Sentry?
Gaia from Secret Invasion. They go with the Drax arm. She goes. No, Loki. I don't think anybody. In a sense, like
I don't think anybody's got the actual ability to stop him.
Literally, you don't remember freaking in Fantastic Four with the sun? He got that.
How about when we...
I'm a Galactus.
No, I'm not Galactus. How about when we Antoine from What If with the songs?
Oh, yeah.
How about the poems?
How about Wokey, but he's like actually really strong.
Well, Wokey when he's a time god, so when we stop that century from ever being born.
What if he seriously decided to just be better? So.
What about the director? The director when we could be void, so when we could do it.
But like I said, they're gonna have to do that route to beat Century, and I knew that they were gonna do that going into it.
But I think it was. I will say this. I loved that it wasn't just a generic fight third act. I loved that it was different. It was a good take.
I know that some people probably don't like that Century fucking
team wipes
blitzed them like they had no chance. But that's like
I loved
accurate.
It. I loved that
that's what it should.
They hyped themselves up a little bit. They were thinking we got this, and then they get humbled so bad, being back to the bottom. Yeah. I loved it.
Also, I'm mad butthurt about the whole team being punchy shooty guys. I know that's like the whole thing.
We all just punch and shoot.
Yeah, I know it's like the whole thing, but like. I would have really liked to see one person.
Can we segue that?
Yeah, let's do it.
So about that is kind of what I wanted to talk about before we got into our last topic, which was productions, and we also do our like final thoughts, final numbers thing. But like we already did, but so that kind of goes into the production of the movie a bit. So obviously Thunderbolts, I think it was called maybe The Thunderbolts or whatever before, it was announced in 2022. And then they started getting their casting and stuff. And surprisingly, a lot of people that were in the movie that weren't in the movie, they originally had Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross. So, the President Thunderbolt is Red Hulk, because in the comics, it's his team. That's why they're called the Thunderbolts.
Well, if you didn't remember, he turned into a big red monster. So
we also had Io, I think I'm saying her name right, Io Edibiri, who was an undisclosed character. And then also, originally as Sentry, we had Steven Yeun, Mark himself. But unfortunately, he had to drop out after kind of during the writer's strike, actor strike. Because of
I think he wouldn't have done as good of a job, to be honest.
Of the strike and of scheduling. I think it would have been a completely different kind of take. And I think it just, he's very good as Mark in Invincible, but I think we needed someone kind of like Pullman, not that and stuff. But also
all the memes that would have come out of it would have been like, what's Invincible doing in the MCU?
Yeah, Invincible's got hair now. But also, so then they rewrote the script to fix some of the things. So then they cut some of these characters out and whatnot. And then the film got delayed by some months, even like production wise, and then release. And then Louis Pullman gets casted in early 2024, and that's the guy who plays Sentry now. And then the film is retitled Thunderbolts with an asterisk, which later we find out is to then reveal that it's the new Avengers. And then it releases in 2025. So they honestly, while they probably did some pre-production shooting, I think they said that in some interviews at the time, they halted it, shot some more with Pullman, and I feel like they did a lot of their shooting in early 2024.
Was it supposed to be a TV show?
No. It was all supposed to be a movie. It was very slated early on. I think, honestly, they announced it even like way back when at one of the D23s or at Comic-Con, but it was always on their slate. But I know it changed because people were also like, well, why is Zemo not on the team? Abomination should have been on there, like some more of a powerhouse. And then you had these characters. There was a theory at one time being like that the actress for Ghost was not going to be on production, and then she came back. There was a lot of these moving parts that I know this movie had a lot of production trouble, and I think that maybe is what they still made the movie they wanted to make in the point. But I think because of all the rushes and the changes and the strikes, they lost a lot of their essence.
Get rid of Ghost and have Abomination on the team, and it would have been a better movie.
Get rid of Taskmaster and have Abomination. I mean,
they did get rid of Taskmaster. What are you talking about?
Well, also, I could see that.
Just add Abomination at that point.
I could see that with Ghost, and also I think what the issue was with the movie at that point was
she's got the coolest powers, but they don't like she's not on screen.
But also every time she uses her powers, they also like have the trigger thing, and she can't use her powers.
Yeah. She got to use the powers like once or twice to save people, and then once or twice to save herself.
Right.
And then
she didn't do it again.
And then every single time she did it for the rest of the movie, it was like, oh no, you can't do it. We have the thing that just lets you do that.
Right.
So.
I also think the issue with that movie, which I'm glad that it's not hurting it as much, was, and I think I've discussed this before, the movie should have come out like in 2022, 2023. Low key, it should have, just because that's when everyone was like knowing these characters really well. Like a year or two before, we would have had John Walker introduced in the show. We had Yelena and Black Widow in 2020. We had these characters.
For sure, it should have came out before Captain America, and then they should have had Ross in it.
Well, also because it felt
That should have happened.
I think I was saying it when I talked about them announcing like the new Avengers and stuff. It felt like they had to just scramble this team because next they're about to do Avengers and people didn't know who the heck is on the rosters. So for them to announce that this is a team that the world or the universe knows and the fans know, it was kind of like, I feel like a rush job that if they would have planned it out better, which I get, everyone understands that Marvel didn't do that. But if they would have done that and chosen their order of the release better, they would have had a more constructive thing. But honestly, you can't fix that now.
Yeah.
They did their best. And I do like the Thunderbolts as a team.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see them in Avengers. But it could have been handled better.
In light of just like, because I feel like we've said a lot of negatives.
I like the movie.
It's still a 6.5.
Still
and
fun.
Also,
still fun.
They did a great job balancing the humor in this movie.
Yes.
I do think there were some things that were joked about that should have been. There should have been some there should have been some heaviness to it.
Yeah.
And then had some levity later. But honestly, compared to was it Captain America had some horrible jokes in it, didn't it? It was like 90%
it had horrible
joking.
jokes. I think some of the editing was kind of weird. The story was
Compared
bum. They had clear reshoots. Bless you.
Thank you.
This movie at least is, while I said the structure and the writing was a little weak and could have been better, in comparison, it's leagues above Captain America.
Yeah, no, I'd rather watch this movie. If I had to watch
in a ranking system, I
you'd
think
have to shoot me to watch Captain America again.
When,
I think
when I was watching, I'm doing a watch through of all the MCU shows and everything. Right now, because I've kind of like stopped at Endgame right now. I have to go from Endgame to I think Thor 4. I think for me, where I put it in Letterboxd, it's like right below Iron Man 3. Because I'm also someone that doesn't like, I don't put Iron Man 3 as high, but I also have it, I do like a lot of things with it. It's about there for me. I think right now it's at number like 19.
Yeah, I mean, I like Thunderbolts. It was...
Or no, not 19. I'm sorry. Or maybe it is. I don't know.
It was above average for the most recent movies.
Above average. Did a lot of things different. I liked.
And remember, guys, a 5 is like a totally watchable movie.
Yeah, 5 is totally watchable.
That's like a middle of the road mid movie.
6.5 for me is it's almost good.
It's like, almost good. There was just a little bit of tweaking that they could have done. Yeah. Honestly, if they had tackled... Because, by the way, all the stuff that we're saying, these are all things, if they tackled one of them... It would have brought. It would have
been a 7, yeah.
But if they had done all of them, it would have been a 10.
It would have been a 9 or 10.
Oh, yeah, 9.
It would because it would have been a different.
Century is so cool.
Because it would have been a unique movie that was so unlike the MCU. Obviously, there's some stuff that like we like it as a 10.
Having a villain just straight up murdering people, having the team be all introspective.
We obviously would probably still love other MCU properties more because they are filling our MCU brains, but. I think a lot of people would have appreciated it being different and put it in like their top 5s.
I will say though, I think Dorian had said it was similar, like it was about as good as Shang-Chi.
No, Shang-Chi's higher.
Yeah, Shang-Chi
because Shang-Chi has a good story structure.
Shang-Chi dog stomps on this
Shang-Chi to me feels like Wonder Woman 1, where like
Shang-Chi to me is like an 8, like a 7.5,
8. Yeah, for me, Shang-Chi is like Wonder Woman 1. It has a really good second act. Oof. The story's great, but the third act kind of like fumbles a bit.
You know what? Thunderbolts is a 6. Thunderbolts is a 6. Shang-Chi is a 7 to a 7.5.
For me, Letterboxd, it says it's a 6. I will probably, when I talk to somebody about it, I'll probably say 6, 6.5.
6.5. I know, and I'm giving it the extra half point because of the production hell. I know that it was horrible. Like, I'm shocked we even got a movie.
I'll give them 0.5 because you know what? They're probably going to be the people, besides obviously like, the X-Men, that I am the most excited to see in the Avengers movies. Because now we have a movie with them.
That's true.
Maybe also Shang-Chi.
I'm really...
I love you, Simu Liu.
Dude, Shang-Chi might have been able to fight Sentry. JK. So Shang-Chi would have died.
He is the power of Kung Fu.
I have the power of Kung Fu and the 10 rings.
But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think we're almost getting to like the credits of our chat. But wait, there's a post credit.
Oh,
did I just boom the mic?
You just boomed the fuck out of the mic. Here, wait.
Boom.
Do it again.
Boom. Boom. Wait.
But wait, do it again.
Why?
So I can just not have one where you're like.
Oh, sorry. We're gonna keep this in though. But wait, there's a post to the credits. There's actually 2 posts. So there's a gag one in the middle that obviously it's poking fun at the branding because they do have Thunderbolts cereal right now, and that's one's called the New Avengers.
On the box.
He's like, here, you should take these books, and she's like, okay, and then she sets it down. It's kind of funny.
Nice theme.
Like David Harbour's just really fun.
Yeah, he might have been my favorite actor in the movie. Him and the guy who put Century. Those are my 2 favorite.
Louis Pullman and David Harbour.
I mean, I hate
Hopper,
to say
bro.
it. I like Yelena. She's a really cool character in the MCU. I feel like you hate all the Black Widow types. I just they're so boring to watch.
I think
to me.
this is my. I mean,
It's not her fault. She did a great job.
I like Yelena. I think there's just I have more fun with other characters.
I just like people with superpowers, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Low key. But also, yeah. But the real true post credit scene we want to talk about is at the very end of the movie. They go 14 months later. The New Avengers, as they're called, are this team, and everyone looks a little different because time has passed. They're in the tower. They have been announced. At the end of the movie, they're announced to be the Avengers by Val, kind of covering her butt. And saving her career or whatever. And so they choose to be a team because this is like now their new, this is now like what their purpose is. And then they are discussing like copyright stuff with Sam because obviously at the end of Captain America, Sam is
the Avengers with a Z.
Right, because Sam was going to start the Avengers back and then this gets announced. So they are like almost like the government, like almost like, if it was back in the day, like the Accord Avengers, and Sam is like the true Avengers, and they're like, he copyrighted it. And then, you say, Red Guardian's like, don't worry, guys. We are the Avengers with a Z. With his, like, dripped out, like, one piece.
Yeah, dude. I'm glad that they got the Wheaties box. That's cool.
And then while they're talking, though, they get a signal surveillance in space. And they see a rocket pull up. And obviously, like, I love this, though, before I get to what it is. Because it feels like an OG Phases 1, 2, 3 MCU movie where the post-credit scene
mattered.
Well, it matters, but it also because it shows us fun in their universe one more time, but then it also sets up the next movie. That's what a post-credit scene in a universe should be. It should be what are the characters doing?
I agree.
And then what comes because even like Doctor Strange, the end of Doctor Strange is just a clip from Thor 3. He comes in, it connects the universe, and it hypes you up for the next thing. And so they look into space and they see a rocket coming down and it has a big fat 4 on it. Fantastic Four.
Fantastic.
And so honestly, the questions are like, what does this mean? And for me personally, does it kind of spoil Fantastic Four?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
You have such a, and I'm gonna use the swear word, head ass theory.
Well, I don't care about that. I'm not talking about that theory. It's hard to spoil. It's hard to spoil the Fantastic Four when we know that they're going to win the next movie.
Well, they're not going to win.
They're going to win.
Do you want to go theories right now? We'll go theories right now.
I think that it's not going to. I don't think it's going to spoil anything.
Just let's talk about it.
Okay, you go ahead.
No, you're the one who talks about it. I'm only gonna.
I got no backing.
I don't have a theory. I just have what the notes and the trailers look like.
I think
are predictions.
I think
not a theory.
That this could be.
Tell me before you say this. Tell me where are the Fantastic Four right now?
I think they're coming back from space. They just got their powers. I think that's what that is.
In 2024, and then the movie is them now? I
think that they just have a retro aesthetic. I think that they just have a retro aesthetic in their building, and that's okay to have a retro aesthetic.
But it's also the city. In the trailer.
I don't think so.
I want to rebuttal, and I don't think it is. I don't want to call you out for being wrong.
They had a Volkswagen Beetle a current Volkswagen Beetle. I
want to think no. Just because I think what they're setting up is that the Fantastic Four are in another multiverse, because we've seen multiverse now a lot in the MCU, that they are in a timeline where it's almost like
Galactus wins.
Well, no. Well, yes, but also in a timeline where they are in futuristic times. Like, you look at those old ads where it's like the future, or like, Fallout level stuff.
It's retro future.
It's retro future, where it's the future, but it's retro tech and stuff. And like I think my friend said it best that like the Reed Richards is like a Nikola Tesla type, where he gives out the science and stuff, and they have all these retro things, and they go up to space, because I don't think it would make sense for them to get their space and get their powers. I think they go up to space, they get their powers, and I don't think they're even going to show it like crazy besides broadcast footage of them getting their powers, because I think in the Fantastic Four movie, it's them already as these celebrities of the team. And then Silver Surfer comes down, tells them that they're marked, and obviously we now know by the second trailer.
I didn't realize she was female, by the way.
They chose that. I think they're going to do in the actual like true timeline, like the other version. But it's cool to see different comic variants. But I think now that we know that it's about... Right. Now that we know it's about the first steps, though, it's about their baby, their son. Isn't his name like Jonathan or Joseph?
Who?
The baby, the Richards kid, the son of Sue Storm and
I don't
Reed.
know. I don't remember.
Well, the baby.
I'm not a huge Fantastic Four guy.
The baby is apparently like an Omega level like character.
Was it Legion?
No, he has like
Legion?
The son of Professor X. Half son but their son, I'm sorry, I'm not a big comic guy, but I know some stuff. He is apparently so powerful. I think what my friend was saying is a theory is that when the baby's born, that power will attract Galactus, and then they will be, or maybe when the embryo is big enough, they will attract Galactus. He'll come for the baby. They will try to stop him and go into space to meet him because he shrinks down on the planet. I bet they'll try to lead him out into space on the thing. And then the baby will do something crazy cosmic. And by doing that, though, he will open up I feel maybe not. I mean, if I'm wrong, it's okay. I'm enjoying the movie. This is just my predictions. He'll like somehow be able to tap into a wormhole. Because I think
he might have reality bending powers. I don't know who.
With Galactus, you can, if they were to just beat Galactus like Ant-Man did Kang, I'd be mad disappointed. To have him almost win, but them have a bit of an escape into the new reality, that leaves Galactus open for the future of the MCU if they want to go back to him, but it also puts them on the reality that we are in.
To test Silver Surfer.
Right. And then they also put the Fantastic Four on our reality, on our Earth, to put us there for the MCU movie for Doomsday.
And Venom's already there, too. They kind of did that with Venom.
Well, no, he's not. I don't know if you saw Last Dance. But,
I thought they left Venom.
No,
there.
in Last Dance, I thought we saw it. And no, I saw it somebody else, I think. In Last Dance, he goes back to his reality. And then, spoiler, Venom dies.
Oh, I know that he dies.
But that's
how does he go? How does he go back? How does the symbiote get recalled back to the reality?
Oh, you mean the little bubble symbiote?
Yeah, he left. They left a bit of Venom in Spider-Man's city.
I mean, maybe they'll come up in the new Spider-Man movie, but I think also they kind of retconned it where in the third Venom movie, it just came with them back to the OG bar. But if they do have a copy and it's in this one, they might bring into it in the fourth movie. But if not, it's one of those things that's just like a lingering
I think that you're
plot
right
hole.
though about they're gonna lose to Galactus and they're gonna have to like escape
because in the trailers they already have their like the thing is in the astronaut. I thought that he comes
because they got their powers though, and it just takes them a long time to get there. Because I thought that when they got their powers and the cosmic rays and stuff, that's what alerted him to their presence.
It could be, and I'm down for that too, either or. But I think the thing with like this post-credit scene and the rocket, I think because at the end of the trailer in one of them, the thing is in a spacesuit. So they're going to go to space like twice.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's probably what's going to happen. They might even I don't know about the baby. They haven't shown the baby in any of the trailers, I don't think, right?
They've just shown them Sue being pregnant and them saying it's first steps. I think if they're creative enough, they might try it. If not, they won't.
I think they'll try it. I just hope that they don't make it like a baby Groot.
I think
baby.
Marvel's.
I hate when they do that shit, dude.
Well, no. This is a baby. They're not gonna do like that's different because that's like a trope thing. Because like James Gunn did that with like King Shark and Eagly and stuff. But like, I think
I like King Shark, so I guess. That's fine.
With this one, though, I think with Fantastic Four, I think Marvel's on a better track, even though we just got doo-doo Captain America, and this was a little underwhelming for some people. This was
doo-doo Captain America, pretty good Thunderbolts, and then I think Fantastic Four is going to be like a 9. I'm gonna put it out there. I think it's going to be an 8.5 or a 9.
I think this will probably be like without a doubt at least the
maybe
best.
Maybe a 9.5.
The best Fantastic Four movie. I think not.
It looks really good.
I want to put it at a predictable right now. If it exceeds it, good. 8.5 out of 10. I think
8.5 is
I think Superman, because it comes out the weekend before, will be either for me
either an 8 or a 9.
I think low-key Superman's either going to be an 8 or a 9. So it's either going to be half or less than Fantastic Four or a little better.
I think it's going to be Superman's an 8, Fantastic Four is an 8.5.
I could see that because also,
I think that's what it's going to be.
An ensemble movie is also mad fun.
I love Superman and stuff, and I love him as like a Boy Scout, and I think they're going to just go classic Superman, which I like. And it looks like they're going to handle it really well. So I'm excited to see how much I like
for the box office hype. I think they're...
Well, people fucking...
know who he is.
People hate classic Superman for some reason. People, like, they would rather have 10 Injustice movies than have, like, one where Superman is just a nice dude.
I think, honestly, this one might bring him back to formula. Because it's also the kick-up of a thing.
I hate people who are... Oh, dude, like, because, like, his... Just let the character be who he was originally. Why do we have to have this evil dark?
I know for a fact if you ask like good true DC fans, you're like, "What's your favorite version of Superman?" And, if you're not doing movies only, they might go like, "Oh, I really like the animated TV show." Like for me, my favorite version is the animated TV show version. That's honestly a really close interpretation of the comic books.
Yeah.
And James Gunn likes comic books.
Guys, let's trust James Gunn. I wonder if he's going to add in the I wonder if he's going to add in the I'm Batman while they're both at a dining table.
The superhero cafe?
Yeah, dude. He said he would. At some point, he said it was going to happen. Somebody said that they said at James Gunn, if you add this, I will have a video of me eating a shoe. And James Gunn said, you better get ready, bro.
I think I could see that happening maybe in like 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Because we're going to get Supergirl, we're going to get Swamp Thing. Once we get Brave and the Bold, maybe at the end of that movie, or for a
Marvel gotta watch out.
Well, the thing is, Marvel kind of get, and this will be the last talking point. We'll talk about future of MCU right now. Because after Fantastic Four, because we'll also I know for a fact I think we want to maybe try to do a Fantastic Four thing.
Oh yeah, dude, we'll watch Fantastic Four for sure.
I think for Marvel after Fantastic Four, besides some TV shows, some small TV shows, and maybe some season 2s or whatever, we aren't getting anything before Avengers.
Oh my gosh, what if we went to Halloween and we had Kendall be Sue, and then we had
Dorian as Johnny,
you as Reed, and me as the Thing.
Dang.
Does that not sound like a fire costume idea? I feel like Dorian wouldn't be down. Well, you could be Johnny. You could be Johnny. He could be fantastic. He could be Mr.
Or we could also just find something else for Kendall. But also, I guess she.
But I think it would. I think that would work. Pedro Pascal's playing.
I'm not saying I can't. I'm just saying physicality wise.
No, for sure you would make more sense. But also,
I could also maybe if I bulk up before October, I could be Superman. Or not.
You could try. That'd be cool.
Hey, James. If the Superman movie sucks, low key, I'll get you. You don't listen to this. And I love Superman. But honestly, if you need a variant of Superman, I'm 6'8", and I honestly am planning to get
James. Make him Bizarro.
I'm planning to get shredded.
Also, by the way, low key,
and I'm goofy, and I am in love with Supergirl.
The show Lois and Clark. The live action show. They did a pretty good job.
Superman and Lois, or Lois and Clark. Because there is
Lois and Clark is the animated show, right?
No. There's a TV show called, I think it's like it's like Superman and Lois, and that just came out. But then there is a Lois and Clark show that came out in the 80s.
No.
The new one,
the newer one, the one where
Tyler Hoechlin.
Yeah. They did a good job. That
just ended. I didn't get to watch season 3 or 4 yet.
I hated Bizarro in it.
I didn't get to that far. I got to season 3 and 4. Well, I have to still watch those.
Spoilers.
Well, I love Superman content. I watched Krypton. That show was fire.
I'm not gonna say it.
But anyway, yeah, like we said, future MCU.
Yeah.
I think MCU's on a good track for Fantastic Four. If it sucks somehow, they're doomed.
Yeah, if they ruin Fantastic Four, then DC's gonna sweep them. Unfortunately.
Well, even with Avengers, I think Avengers isn't gonna meet the hype. It's got the Russos back, but also the Russos have had a rough tier. All they have, because literally the next year's slate is like Avengers, Spider-Man, Avengers. Maybe some TV shows here and there. Maybe some.
Do we know what type of Spider-Man movie we're getting? Are we getting like a back to his roots? Like he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
I don't know that people want that.
That's what they set it up as.
Well, they set it up as it. I think some people said that maybe he's doing multiverse, which would be.
They also
bad.
They've killed themselves because they ruined. I don't know, Well, I guess that's not even.
No, what do you mean?
Spider-Verse isn't. Spider-Verse movies are Sony movies, right? They're not.
They're not going to entangle. Even on.
Well, I'm just saying they're just gone. We're not getting any
Well,
anymore.
that's Sony. So even if like MCU can't take credit for that,
that
we get one more animated Spider-Man movie coming out. I think in 2027, 2028.
That's gonna happen.
And even and I don't want to even go into it. Like Batman has been delayed a lot, and maybe is in cancellation.
I'm really worried, especially with the
movies. Just gotta watch out
with the tariffs coming out.
Yeah, we can talk about tariffs real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry,
well, we're not gonna go super in depth with it,
guys.
But guys, listen, to be 100% real with you guys,
we love movies.
We love movies, and also America makes shit dog ass movies.
Well, because they make good indie production films, but they have
everywhere makes good indie production.
They've had a problem as of recent, and the studios have called it out. And I want to watch. Apparently, there's been a show called The Studio that Seth Rogen produced and is in, and it's Apple TV. But apparently, that does a really good, realistic choice of how the studio works and how creatives are struggling from that. Like, apparently, it's a comedy, but it's done really well and pretty accurate representations.
Yeah.
But they discuss it's the same thing. Like, the studio has all these requirements. Like, that's why we're also getting like Toy Story 5 and Moana live action.
This is what I'm saying though.
Hollywood is kind of brain dead.
If you guys think that American movies right now suck and that they're shilling out and now they're about and they're to. like anybody, like there's going to be people to go watch them. It's going to be only that soon. Because if we cannot have any movies that are not competing with American movies, they will stop making good movies.
Because we're about to get only in-house A24 stuff.
A24 will keep it real.
Do you? Right, there's still some strong stuff. Lionsgate kind of got some whatever.
But Lionsgate's been putting in the work.
I will say though, if you like someone like also though, like if you're someone that likes like the movie just came out like Flow, like that was a foreign movie. Studio Ghibli. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna make any more, but they're definitely still in the works. Like that stuff it's gonna be harder to get a hold of, and then they're gonna be harder to make like dubs of things.
I'm just saying, if you're watching the MCU movies and you're like, man, I hate how like generic. how capitalist this is. They're just putting out stuff.
It's about to be crazy.
It's about to be only that. It's about to be we can make whatever we want. There's no other movies to watch. That's what's about to happen. And then
everything's gonna probably be streaming generic. And as people that like this is supposed to be our future, it makes the future look dull because it's like, why am I even like working hard to be?
Dude, I'll move to Iceland. If it stays like this and it's like horrible, I'll move to Iceland.
We make a bro pact to move to Iceland and start a production company and make Icelandic movies. Because I watched a couple Icelandic movies before going.
They're good.
They were emotional. They were good.
I'm just saying though, like
expensive with their kronas, but
yeah. I'm just saying if you're someone who likes movies, and obviously if you watched all the way through, I assume you're someone who likes movies and you care about them.
Mm-hmm.
The tariffs are really scary. The 100% tariff tax on any international movies
100% is crazy.
Is insane, dude. And also that means if they do get through, it's gonna be impossible.
It's also gonna be hard for us to export.
They're gonna be like $90 to watch a movie.
It's also gonna hurt our thing for them to be because if we're hurting importation, that means other countries are gonna hurt our exportation.
Yeah.
So some movies don't do so well domestically and they do really well worldwide.
So even the movies that are like doing something that's different and breaking through the tariff stuff, like those like A24 stuff, and they're not going to get much backing.
Those don't get a lot of backing worldwide, but they're like, well, that's the thing though, is what I'm saying. Like stuff like the only big movies that do well worldwide are like blockbusters and stuff. And that's where they get a lot of their money from. But like if they're putting tariffs on that and then let's say domestically it doesn't implode, the studio is going to look at that and go like, well, the blockbusters aren't doing well either. They're going to stop. They're going to start spending as much money, but they also might just go like, well, we're just going to stop making as many movies, and they're going to stop taking chances with the lower movies and put more of their focus into making these expensive movies only, and then they're still going to be bad, and then the art form is going to crush and die and implode.
I'm going to say right now,
L Trump,
but also don't get too attached to any movies. It doesn't matter how good they are until this tariff thing's gone. They're probably going to suffer a bunch.
Yeah,
and whenever movies suffer, people don't like picking them back up.
Right, and honestly, low key, maybe get into podcasting. Maybe listen to us instead.
Yeah, dude.
We'll watch the movies where you can.
And don't worry, we'll figure out a way to watch them, and we'll tell you about them.
We'll get a VPN.
Yeah,
they can't tariff our VPN.
They can't tariff us.
And then the FBI shows up and they go, You're going to jail.
We're gonna get you. But either way, yeah. So that was Thunderbolts. It was.
What are we? Some kind of.
What are we? Some sort of podcast?
Fire.
Man, that was really the real deal, man. You're supposed to go. Say that again.
We'll do that during Fantastic Four.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Fantastic Four.
Anyways, I was Christian.
Oh, that's no. Give us more of an outro.
Okay. Well, that was Thunderbolts. Me and Cooper did enjoy the movie as much as we liked to pick it apart.
You might call us some haters, but honestly, we some lovers.
Figure no podcast is good unless we're actually like dissecting a movie.
100%. We movie doctors.
I'm gonna try to get this guy to do a Dexter review with me at some point.
I did force you to do House of the Dragon,
and I liked House of the Dragon.
And also, I don't know when it's coming out yet, but still the
I gotta watch Game of Thrones.
I mean, we also could just wait for the the Hedge Night to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Duncan the Tall. That is only a season, and it's coming out in the summer, but we'll see. And Squid Game, but probably not Squid Game.
I don't care about Squid Game.
The terrorists have ruined Squid Game,
bro. Well, yeah, if you like fucking Squid Game, bro, it's gone.
Well, that's Netflix. I think Netflix
it's also
is
a TV show. They said specifically,
but
movies.
no, I might consider. I'm gonna consider OG Dexter. I will not consider the spinoff crap.
Honestly, the spinoff, not bad.
Crap,
not bad.
All of it, because there's like
all of it, not bad.
Isn't there like 3 or 4?
No, there's not a bunch of spinoffs. There is Dexter, and then there is him when he was younger.
I could dive into some Dexter.
But the OG show is what I want to go over. It was really good.
I could dive into some Dexter. Maybe we do like a thing we did where it's like every 2 seasons is a discussion.
Yeah, we won't do BoJack
But we'll
again.
also
Don't worry,
more things. Summer's gonna come out soon. Summer blockbuster, so we're gonna have a lot more movies. You know, there's like a ton to come out, and so we'll cover them either being keeping it shorts or in full-length episodes, and maybe also, even for like stuff like Fantastic Four.
You guys know what's up. Don't expect us to post here in a month. You know, we're gonna try to do our own thing. We're gonna try to get stuff out, but which hopefully it will be easier though now that we don't. I think school.
I feel like I don't want to make the promise and not be, but. Now there's really not an excuse.
Yeah, I want to watch like The Fifth Element and record it on the podcast. I want to do like the Alien movies.
Getting back maybe into themes too.
We're about to get Howdy Neighbor out. I'd love to do an episode where we talk to Dorian about Howdy Neighbor.
Like a press junket thing?
Just like us all talking about the movie and the production hell that it was.
It would be kind of fun to do a bit more of a special episode with that one.
We're going to, yeah.
But you know, we're just excited and
just to let y'all know that we're not letting the Real Deal like podcast die. Although I still do want to brand differently. We may brand away from the Real Deal. Just because there's that other big podcast that's
it's a fishing podcast.
Well, yeah, but still, it crushes us.
How about we are the Real Deals with a Z?
Oh,
we are Real Deals.
I like that. But either way, we're gonna still try to get that rebranding and stuff out, and there is some stuff on the horizon. Don't worry, but also we'll be doing our own ventures and stuff and keeping y'all posted. So, I mean that was Thunderbolts. We were the Real Deal boys. I was Christian.
What are we? Some kind of Thunderbolt?
This guy. I was Christian.
I was Cooper.
And this was the Real
Deal
podcast
with a Z.
See you guys later.